law enforcement fights crime in our neighborhoods. The eyes and ears of the community can prove vital in these efforts. Stay vigilant. Your tip could crack the next case. This is a KLFY Plus exclusive. Acadiana Crimestoppers.
Welcome to this week's edition of Acadiana Crimestoppers, a show which partners law enforcement and community to help solve and prevent crime on our streets. In this episode, we will cover the crime of the week parish by parish. We will also talk Lafayette Parish's Most Wanted with Lafayette City Marshal Reggie Thomas, and we will tell you about a St. Landry Parish woman's disappearance 21 years ago and why they still need your help now to solve that case. We begin in Acadia Parish, where authorities are looking for two people wanted for attempted homicide. Sheriff K.P. Gibson has the crime of the week.
Crimestoppers of Acadia Parish needs your help to locate two wanted fugitives. Detectives with the Crowley Police Department are seeking the public's assistance with locating the following fugitives, both wanted for 5 counts of attempted second-degree homicide. Anthony Dugas is a black male, 17 years of age. He is 5'7" in height, weighing approximately 130 pounds. He has black hair and brown eyes. His last known address is 100 Kathy Meadows Lane in Crowley. Jamarian Thomas is a black male, 19 years of age. He is 5'8" in height, weighing approximately 134 pounds. He has black hair and brown eyes. His last known address is 1102 West 5th Street in Crowley. If you have information regarding these fugitives, you're urged to call the TIPS line at 789-TIPS or download our P3 app on your mobile device to report your tip. All calls remain anonymous and can receive up to a $2,500 cash reward for information leading to arrest in this case. Be the difference. For Crimestoppers of Acadia Parish, I'm Sheriff K.P. Gibson.
If you have any information on this crime, call Crimestoppers at 789-TIPS. You could earn up to a $1,000 cash reward.
St. Landry Parish authorities need your help capturing a suspect wanted for indecent behavior with juveniles. Here is a look at the 24-year-old suspect. His last known address is the 200 block of Rodeo Drive in Iota. Anyone with information on the location of this wanted person is urged to call 948-TIPS. All calls are anonymous, and you could earn up to a $1,000 cash reward. In Evangeline Parish, an unsolved murder has a father pleading for help from the public. News 10's Zane Hogue spoke to the father of Andrew Thomas as the 2-year anniversary of Thomas's murder approaches.
In March of 2024, Andrew Thomas was shot and killed in front of this tire shop on North Chautauqua Street in Ville Platte. Nearly 2 years later, his father is still waiting to find out who pulled the trigger.
The family suffered. You know, mom, his stepmom, his brothers, sisters, cousins. Family on both sides, want closure. That's all we want is closure.
According to Nelson, his son was walking down this sidewalk when the shooter came around the corner of this tire shop and shot him. His body was found just in front of where I'm standing.
This happened early in the morning, at 10 in the morning. So I know someone has been around. Someone seen something. They could come up forward and talk to the officer and try to help to solve this murder.
More pain came to the family as this was the 3rd time in 1 year Thomas was shot. With his injuries, Thomas was walking with a cane the day he was murdered.
And neither one of the cases is solved. They never arrested nobody for neither one of the cases.
With the 2-year anniversary of Thomas's murder approaching, Nelson says the police department is doing their best, but pleads to residents in the city to come forward with any information and ensure his son is not forgotten.
I've been on Detective Keller for a long time now. He's doing his best, but he still needs the help from the public. He'll never get this solved without the help from the public. Anything they know, anything they could do to help Detective Keller or whatever solve this case, our family would be deeply appreciated.
Anyone with information regarding the identity of the shooter is asked to contact Ville Platte Police. Zane Hogue, KLFY News 10.
Lafayette Parish authorities need your help identifying 5 men who broke into a Dollar General store. The whole incident was caught on camera. Here's more on their crime of the week.
You're watching Lafayette Crimestoppers Crime of the Week.
Lafayette Crimestoppers needs your help identifying 5 suspects wanted in connection with a business burglary located in the unincorporated areas of Carencro and Lafayette Parish. On January 17, 2026, 5 masked suspects forced entry into a Dollar General located in the 800 block of Louisiana Highway 1252. Once inside, the suspects stole several items of merchandise. The suspects also attempted to remove a business safe, but were unsuccessful. After committing the burglary, the suspects fled the area on a side-by-side utility vehicle, traveling in the direction of St. Landry Parish. If you have any information about this crime or these 5 suspects, you can contact us at 232-TIPS or use our P3 TIPS mobile app. For Lafayette Crime Stoppers, I'm Staff Sergeant Chris Cormier.
If you have any information on this crime, call Lafayette Crime Stoppers at 232-TIPS or submit your tips using the P3 mobile app. All calls remain anonymous. Only tips received through Lafayette Crime Stoppers that lead to an arrest are eligible for a cash reward.
Lafayette Police and Lafayette Crime Stoppers need your help capturing a suspect accused in a business theft. On January 22nd, officers say the suspect went into a business in the 1900 block of Northwest Evangeline Three-Way and stole items. He then left on foot in an unknown direction. If you know the identity of the suspect, call Lafayette Crime Stoppers at 232-TIPS or by downloading the P3 TIPS mobile app. Authorities in Lafayette are looking for some fugitives wanted for OWI, domestic violence, among other offenses. That's why we've invited our friend Lafayette City Marshal Reggie Thomas back with us once again for Lafayette's City Marshal's Most Wanted segment that we love here on Acadiana Crimestoppers. So thank you so much for being with us again.
And thank you for having me. It's Mardi Gras time. So during Mardi Gras time, I always want to tell everybody to be safe. You know, one of the things you'll see marshals, you'll see police officers, you'll see sheriff's departments. We all out there and we work as a partner, in a partnership. So it's very important. You know, we just had a parade Saturday and we had no issues in Lafayette. You know, everybody really did a great job of you know, just enjoying the Mardi Gras parade. So that's one of the things I want to say. Let's keep it safe. Let's keep doing what we're supposed to do, and let's just have an enjoyable time. And most people will see me out there because I have a great time. I ride in every parade. So
yeah, I've seen some pictures circulating on social media. You look really happy walking those roads, and you know, you really get to see those people and greet those people. I know that has to be rewarding.
Yes, it is. And again, you know, we're here again for this show, and the show is doing so great. We're capturing more people is turning themselves in, and people are really watching, saying that, hey, look, we don't want somebody in our community that's not going to court, somebody that's committing OWI, somebody that's committing domestic batteries. So people call, and we want people to continue to call. And that's why I come every week, because I want people to continue to call, and it's really working.
All right, well, with that being said, let's get down to business. Deanna Lachey Scholas, OWI first offense committed in Lafayette, and she has an active warrant for theft out of Texas. And I was saying, I think she's been a guest on our show before, maybe months ago. Maybe this is for a new charge?
Yeah, sometimes we get somebody who we might have on the show, and they might come in and they might clear the warrant, and they get reset, a new court date or something like that. Then they don't show up again.
Yeah.
You know, when you see somebody like this with an active warrant in Texas, that means that that person might be from Texas. So a lot of time that person will go back to Texas and they just think the warrants don't extend anymore.
Yeah.
So I'm here to say it does, and I'm here to say if you came in once before to turn yourself in, then we're asking you to do it again. This is not a joke. When you don't come to court, then we will find you. So we're asking the community to look at her, and I'm sure somebody knows probably the first time we had somebody probably called in. So we're asking you to call in again if you see her. And if you do see her, contact us and we'll pick her up. One thing about my agency, 24/7, you contact my agency and we will be there to pick her up. But we always ask that if you see yourself on here, just come in and we can work things out. It's never about just always making an arrest. You know, I always say arrest is not always the answer. So we can work it out. It's Mardi Gras time. You don't want to be looking behind your back. No. So contact my agency and, you know, we can work it out.
Yeah, don't become a guest on our show again, Deanna. Third time's not a charm on the show.
No, I'm sure it's not.
All right, our next person here, Devin Jean Book, battery of a dating partner, committed that offense in Lafayette, and he has an extensive criminal history. So some of these people, yes, they have a charge, but they also have an extended criminal history, so it adds to the level of danger these people pose to the community.
And that's very important, because when you see extended criminal history, then also in law enforcement, we handle those cases differently.
Yeah.
You know, we won't just go to the house and knock on the door by ourselves, one officer or two officers. You know, when we know somebody, you know, it depends on what the extended criminal history is. You know, it can be aggravated, it can be something with weapons or something. So we have to put those type of things out. this is somebody, domestic violence, this is somebody that might live next door to you, somebody that you might see. And it's somebody that did not come to court, it's somebody that knows the court system. So we're asking that if you know who it is, contact us. And every time you contact us, it's anonymous. So you don't have to give your name, you don't have to give any information. But what we do want is this person to come to court. We don't want this person on the street, especially committing a domestic battery incident.
Exactly. Our third person for this week, Kevin McPherson, domestic abuse battery, first offense, committed that in Lafayette, and he failed to appear for arraignment. And of course, that's probably why they're up here. 99.9% of these people are up here because they did not show up to court.
Yes, recently I had the judge to come because we was having major issues of people not showing up for court. And when you don't show up for court, then you will get a warrant on you. You know, don't come to me and say, hey, I saw myself on here, why you had to put me on Crimestoppers. I will tell you that why you did not show up for court.
Yeah.
You know, so it's the first offense, but we want it to be the last. So this might be a lesson for him that, hey, they will put you up here on a first offense, so I'm not going to do this again. Anything to teach you a lesson when we're dealing with a domestic violence, I will do it. So, you know, if you see your picture, I'm sure he's known. He's probably known in the neighborhood. Several people are watching and are contacting him, contacting our agency. But we ask, you know, if you see yourself, come to the office, turn yourself in. And we get a lot of people. That's how we clear a lot of warrants. A lot of people look at this, and a lot of people come in and say, what do I need to do to clear it? Can it be reset? Can I pay a fine? You can do a whole lot of things, but you don't know until you turn yourself in.
Yeah, and the reason why we do it as well is because it works.
That's it.
And that's what we're going to show here. These are all the people that have been on the show, and now their warrants are cleared. Michael Jordan Fontenot, he's the first one.
Yeah, and when we say warrant cleared, it could be cleared in so many different ways, but he can come into the office to clear it. You know, we might catch him, you can be driving in a traffic stop, and you know, it's in a computer, and at that time, you know, you get arrested. You can come to court, it can be reset. It's just, you could pay fines, fees. It's just so many ways it can be cleared. But this is where you want to be. You want the warrant cleared. Exactly. You want to be, look, this is the picture that you want. Yeah. So you want it to say warrant cleared. So again, this show works. There's people, we're catching, every time we put somebody up here, we're getting calls. And even though we might not clear the very next week, but we're getting calls about these people, and we want to continue to get calls about it. So I want to acknowledge Acadiana for contacting us, for doing the things that they're doing. So we want to keep doing it. And I want to be able to come here with one picture one day. I want to be able to come here and say, all I have is one picture.
Yeah, that's all we got this week.
That's it, because everybody is showing up and everybody is clearing their cases.
Yeah, we will get to that point for sure. Corey Listy, he's another one. Can we actually go forward here? We have 3 of them today.
Yes.
That have all been, their warrants are all cleared. Connor, Anthony, Monso, and these are all people that have been on the show, and now their warrants are cleared. And hopefully, that's it. Hopefully
and that's
we don't get
the
any
goal.
more.
And that's the goal. Once you get there and once you see warrant cleared, we move on. We don't continue to look for a person. We don't continue to show a person. That's the last time you will be shown. That means that you handle your business. You did the things you need to do. So we just ask that if you're on here, contact my office, come into the office, be up here and have warrant cleared, and let's move on.
Yeah, that's proof. 3 people today. That's proof that what we're doing is working.
That's it.
Thank you so much for being here, Marshal Reggie Thomas.
And thank you for having me.
We'll be right back.
This is a KLFY Plus exclusive, Acadiana Crimestoppers.
Welcome back to Acadiana Crimestoppers. This is a round couch discussion, I would say. Major Mark LeBlanc with St. Landry Parish Sheriff's Office, Sergeant Calvin Tidwell. You're an investigator with the St. Landry Parish Sheriff's Office, and you are Kelly Melanson, and we will introduce you and your role here in just a bit. But I brought you all here today because we want to cover a disappearance of a woman some 20 years ago now, Sandra Ann Burse. You're actually her eldest daughter, and you will it's going to be very great to have you talk about your mom and just how this has been for you. And we will definitely give you this show and this platform for you to be able to do that. But firstly, I would like to start with you, Sergeant Tidwell. Just about this investigation 20 years ago. She disappeared July of 2005, correct? So this was about 21 years ago now. So kind of tell me, let's go back to the beginning and where this started.
Initially, Sandra Burris left her grandmother's house in Port Barre, Louisiana, and she went to work at a local restaurant in Opelousas, Louisiana. She completed her shift. At approximately 10 o'clock that evening, her boyfriend came and told her that he had to go offshore, and he got called into work. So after he left off work, he went offshore for about a 2-week period. He came back, and sometime between the 25th of July and the 8th of August, when Kelly's grandfather came in and reported her missing to the sheriff's office.
Okay, so how did the investigation, where did it begin once you found out that she was missing?
Initially, they just kind of started, they basically started with the boyfriend calling. He called in, trying to get in touch with the grandmother, trying to see where she was at. The grandmother said she hadn't heard from her. Then they started, asking some of her close friends. She disappeared with another friend of hers. Well, didn't disappear with a friend, but they left her grandmother's house at the same time. Mm-hmm. And she gave a statement that they left the restaurant and they went out to enjoy the night at a local club. Mm-hmm. And next thing you know, nobody knows what happened.
So did the investigation uncover any kind of incident at the club?
No incidents were discovered. They advised that she was seen with an individual who was unidentified at the time, but they couldn't tell us who it was. Mm-hmm. But she was on the north end of town of Opelousas, and it was a local clubbing area, I guess you would say.
And I know we can only say certain things on air in this public forum, but is that person identified that she was last seen with now?
Not confirmed.
Not confirmed.
Not confirmed.
Okay.
We do have suspicions of who it was. It's just the fact we got to confirm it and track it down.
Yeah, and this is still an active investigation, so that is why we can't reveal certain things, because you guys are still actively investigating this case all of these years later.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and you had said that you knew her too, right? Just being from the same
I was a city police officer. In fact, 2005, I was the captain in charge of the patrol division for the Opelousas Police Department. Had spent virtually all of my career with that agency as in patrol division. Mm-hmm. Was familiar with Sandra. My wife knew Sandra's parents very well. Mm-hmm. They were clients at a establishment my wife worked at.
Okay.
And everybody, we only knew good things about the family. We didn't see anything there that really stood out. The case primarily went dormant when the original investigators just kept hitting brick walls. Either the people they spoke to had alibis or other stories. Some were not easily confirmed. You got to understand that technology didn't exist as it does now. Mm-hmm. We have very ancient cell phone records between the boyfriend attempting to call Sandra, and some other people. So we have some phone records that kind of give us a time frame in that respect. A lot of the people that were involved are now deceased.
Yeah.
So initial statements were taken, but there's no opportunity to, once you vet that information, to clarify it, or as you find new information, to have a discussion with the people that were there. Even some of the police officers that were originally involved in the investigation or that had direct knowledge of Sandra are now deceased.
So again, we're not going to use names in this broadcast, but the person that she went to the club with, is that person still alive?
The young lady, no. They were real close friends. They hung out a lot together. She regrettably is deceased as well. She did provide a statement to St. Landry Parish detectives 20 years ago. But a lot of that information can't be reviewed with her, regrettably. We're still in the process of vetting information. Kelly recently came to us with some contact with an individual who was familiar with everybody and revealed something to her that kind of kick-started the case again as well. All of this resurgence came about from a podcast corporation looking into cold cases. And they reached out to me, and when they mentioned the name, I was totally unaware that it was a cold case. So the file, I walked into the offices where Detective Sergeant Tidwell's working, went to the secretary, hey, do you have a cold case file? She rolled her chair back 2 feet, opened the file drawer, and pulled it out. Wow. So none of this was just hidden away, totally unforgotten. It's just that it had reached a point where we weren't able to verify certain information.
So this resurgence in the case, can you kind of talk to me about how that was? And just, it has to be difficult, I know.
Yeah, it was shocking, I guess. Shocking to me that somebody would got in touch with me for the podcast, and then to get contacted by a detective saying, hey, we want to reopen the case. It was like, I don't know, I'm still shocked by it, I guess, because we hadn't heard anything in years. Yeah. So I didn't even know what a cold case was.
But that closure, right? That closure would be nice.
Yeah.
After all these years, just to be able to know what happened for sure. Is that what you're hoping for in this case?
Yes.
And I know you said that you're actively working this case, and you're not going to let it die, and you're going to continue to work this.
Yes, sir.
And that's one thing that Major Mark LeBlanc told me when he introduced me to you. He said you are going to continue to work this case, and you are going to make sure you turn over every rock, and this is going to get solved.
Yeah, I'm going to do my best.
Where do you think this investigation could head? I know that's kind of a hard question because you don't really know where it's going to head, but just based on your work with what you could tell me and say publicly, where do you think this is heading next?
Honestly, I would like to say I have hopes for an arrest. I would like to get recovery some remains to hopefully pursue, murder investigation or a murder conviction. But again, like he's mentioned, we don't have the technology. We don't have a crime scene. We don't have any DNA evidence. So it's all based off of finding the evidence.
Yeah, this is still considered a disappearance, right? Because no remains were ever found, so this is still a disappearance case. Again, I understand you can only say so much, but are you close to something? Has something come to light recently that hasn't been known?
There have been some. I'm gonna say that there have been a couple of lights turned on.
Okay.
That has brought, like I say, brought lightness to the dark. Wow. So I'm gonna work those out, and I'm gonna keep going until I can't go anymore.
Wow, that's really telling, and it shows that maybe after 21 years, this case may finally come to a close, and I know that would mean a lot to you, right?
Yeah.
Is there anything else that any of you guys would like to add? Anything you would like to say? You don't have to say anything you don't want to say, but is there anything you would like to say now that you're given the chance?
Yeah, I guess. I would say that whoever hurt my mom, they should be brought to justice because she was a beautiful light in this world and she shouldn't have been taken out.
And I think the man right there on the side of you is going to make sure that happens. Thank you all so much for joining us today, and I wish you all the best of luck in the future.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
We'll be right back.
This is a KLFY Plus exclusive, Acadiana Crimestoppers.
In St. Landry Parish, authorities need your help figuring out who is responsible for bomb threats at Leonville Elementary School. We have more now on the crime of the week.
You're watching St. Landry Crimestoppers.
The St. Landry Parish Sheriff's Office, through our School Resource Officer Division and Deputy Kylie Krull, come to St. Landry Crime Stoppers and ask your help regarding bomb threats at Leonville Elementary School.
On February 4th and again on February 5th, a person or persons communicated a bomb threat and an active shooter threat to authorities. This threat represented a serious incident requiring a multi-agency response and the evacuation of the school. The phone communication indicates the willingness to kill as many innocent people as possible and goes into the resources available to perform this despicable act. This act cannot go unpunished. We ask the public to provide any information possible to assist us in protecting our children.
If you have any information on this crime, contact St. Landry Crime Stoppers at 948-TIPS or download our P3 app, and remember to tap the app to say it here and submit your anonymous tips. You can earn up to $1,000 for your anonymous tip. On behalf of the St. Landry Crime Stoppers Board, Deputy Kylie Krull, the St. Landry Parish Sheriff's Office, and Sheriff Bobby J. Guitros, thank you and have a blessed day.
If you have any information on this crime, call Crime Stoppers at 948-TIPS. You could earn up to a $2,500 cash reward.
Investigators with the St. Martin Parish Sheriff's Office are asking for your help identifying vehicles and persons of interest in connection with a burglary trespassing incident. The burglaries and trespassing incidents occurred January 30th at a home in the 1000 block of Roman Robant Road. According to sheriff's officials, the complainant discovered signs of forced entry and theft at his property, including damage to electrical systems and copper stripped from the home. Over the next several days, suspicious activity continued with unauthorized vehicles seen on or near the property. This included a black Nissan sedan, a silver Mitsubishi sedan, and an unidentified person wearing a green camouflage jacket and black pants. The suspect was captured on camera approaching the home on February 4th. If you know the people or vehicles or have additional surveillance video, contact St. Martin Crime Stoppers at 441-3030.
This is a KLFY Plus exclusive, Acadiana Crime Stoppers.
Welcome back. Our partnership with law enforcement continues. Join us as we show you more wanted fugitives throughout Acadiana. Lafayette City Marshal Reggie Thomas will be with us once again. On the next episode, we'll see what other suspects he is looking for. Also, a one-on-one conversation with St. Martin Parish Sheriff Beckett Bro. He'll tell us about another investigation you can help solve. We appreciate you tuning in to Acadiana Crime Stoppers exclusively on KLFY+. We will be back next week detailing the latest crimes to be solved and perps to bring to justice.